Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Whiteville, North Carolina, visiting Vann, Underwood, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and I'm checking out a 2018 Dodge Charger in the SXT trim level. Now this one has the Blacktop package, which adds mostly cosmetic features, but it also has the sport suspension as well. So let's go ahead and check it out. This Charger is sitting on 245 45 Firestone tires, wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels, painted a gloss black. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated disc rotors in the front and solid disc rotors in the back. The name of this color is TorRed, and it is a eye-catching red. That's one of the main reasons why I chose this particular vehicle to film today, because when I pulled into the parking lot, this thing just stood out in my mind. So really impressive color as far as getting attention, and I liked the contrast with the gloss black and the red. So here in the front with the Blacktop package, you have the gloss black grille. So some portions are a matte black, hopefully you can see that, but the rest, a good portion of it, is gloss. Now the headlights are powered by halogen bulbs and a projector housing for your high and your low beams. It also has an LED accent around the outside for a daytime running light. You also have LED turn signals as well. The bezels that house the headlights are all black. Actually a combination of flat and gloss black. Kind of adds to that Blacktop theme. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system designed to keep in your pocket or a bag and use the vehicle 100%. It does have a physical key on the inside, but generally you don't have to take it out of your pocket. It does have some useful buttons though: lock and unlock, the ability to pop the trunk. Actually goes up all the way when you push it. We'll try that out in a few minutes. And it has a remote start, so, and a panic button. So let's go ahead and push the panic button and see what happens. So it has a strong horn. It flashes the lights, beeps the horn. And the remote start, you just double tap that. Starts right up. Then you can just push it to turn it off. Now you can restart it up to 3 times. I think it'll run for 10 minutes at a time. So that way, you know, if say a child was playing around with it, they can't sit there and do it all day long. Now the beeping of the horn when you remote start it or when you lock the doors, that can be turned on or off in the settings. Okay, so looking at the profile of the vehicle, and you see those impressive gloss black wheels, looking pretty good with the black paint. But right in here, just kind of looking at the contour, it has the body colored handles, are all the same color as the vehicle. In this case, it's red. And the side mirror is black, so it's a gloss black right here. All this area right in here is blacked out, except for the glass. If that was tinted, it'd really go with the look. But it's a flat black or a matte black, and then even the center portion right here is blacked out as well. So that way it kind of gives it that whole solid piece look, as if it's one solid window or one solid piece of glass, something like that. So walking up to the car, as long as you have the key with you, it can be in your pocket, a bag, or whatever, as long as within a close proximity of this door. To lock the doors, push this button and unlock it. You simply put your hand under the handle for just a brief second, and it will sense the key within a close proximity of the door and unlock the doors and allow you access to the vehicle. And check out how wide the doors open here in the back. It's almost completely straight out. Now this really helps out with getting in and out of the vehicle, but it is a kind of a stretch trying to reach the door sometimes if you get in and put your seatbelt on before you shut the door. So that's something to consider. Okay, so here's the inside of the passenger side door, and it has soft to the touch surfaces basically from the midway all the way up. So here's a soft to the touch vinyl type surface with the contrast stitching all in here. And then you have a cloth material all the way up to this point. And then this is a soft synthetic material, sort of like what I describe as a Nerf type material. It's soft but durable material. It has a synthetic or a simulated leather texturing, but it is a synthetic material that continues down all the way into the door jamb, and the dashboard is actually made out of that same material. You start getting your hard plastics down in this area. Now you have storage pockets all in this area and a cup holder that's separate. Little storage pocket right here. And the handle here, which is a nice big handle, that could be used as a little storage area because it's sealed up. You can, put a key or whatever there. Okay, so here's your threshold with a plastic seal plate right here. And a manually adjusted seat for the passenger with cloth seating surfaces. It does have the stitching there in gray. Center portion is a little bit different material than the ends. Just to kind of give it a different type of look. You have your charger badging here. The bezels around the outside of the vents are also gloss black. There's your leg room. Little bit of tapering going on right in here, but overall a lot of leg room. The floor mat hooks in place to keep it from sliding around on you. And it has a lockable glove compartment. You can open that up. It's felt lined down in this area, but the top portion right here, there's actually these little shelves. So they go in there quite a ways. And it's a little divider here. So that way you can kind of try to keep your glove compartment organized. I know it's a challenge, but that's the intention. Okay, so looking at the back door, you see it swings out quite wide as well, but the opening for the back door is much narrower compared to the front, but it does give you plenty of room to get in and out of the vehicle. Here's the inside of the back door. As with the front, it has the soft to the touch surfaces here, here, and then you have your hard plastics down in that area. Still have a fairly large storage pocket there as well as here. The back seat is basically a bench seat with some bolsters, pretty good sized bolsters there to kind of simulate a bucket seat and give you a little bit more comfort. There's pockets on the back of the front seats here, and pretty significant hump there in the center portion. Now you do have 2 USB ports and your air vents for your climate control. Now these USBs are only for charging. They're not inputs to the radio. You have this armrest with cup holders that move out of the way for a center passenger. It does have the latch system for car seats, or ISOFIX is what they also call it. These seats fold down as well, so you can add to your cargo space. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so moving around to the back of the car, at the very top there's a little antenna similar to a shark fin, except for not as sticking up so far. Right below it is a third brake light powered by LEDs. Matter of fact, all the rear lights in the back of the vehicle are powered by LEDs. The turn signals, everything. Reverse lights. Okay, so check out this spoiler. So this is part of the Blacktop package, is this matte black spoiler across the back. There's a backup camera integrated into the trunk in the very center position, which is perfect, and it's high up too. Gives you a good view. Parking sensors also across the back, and it has dual exhaust tips, or I should say exhaust surrounds. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the trunk. So You can use the key by pressing the button I showed you earlier, or you can simply push this button. It'll have the same effect either way. So watch when I push the button. It just goes up all by itself. So it's kind of spring-loaded and kind of rapidly goes up. Gets out of your way. You see it goes over the glass quite a ways. It's gonna get out of your way and keep you from bumping your head. And it has a insulation and everything under here. Handle right there to lower it. I rarely use those handles. Okay, so you have this little bag holder here in the trunk, and two sources of light too, which is really nice. You have one light here, and you have one light here. Kind of helps out with shadows. You can put a net pocket across the back if you want to. Everything is carpeted, so that way there's nothing, you know, no exposed speakers or wires hanging down, nothing to damage your luggage. Let's say if you stack it in here, if there's, you know, metal speaker or metal in general exposed back here, then it could damage, you know, whatever you put back here, especially when it's rattling around while you're driving. Okay, so these seats do fold down, and you can see it's a 60-40 split right there, so we can fold down one seat or the other, so we can add to our cargo space while still maintaining some passenger space depending on our needs. That's a really handy thing to have. And I'm going to put all the cubic feet and measurements and everything in the description, so you can look it up if you're comparing, you know, trying to compare apples to apples or whatever. But this is give you a visual idea of what it looks like here in the trunk. Okay, so this lifts up, and it has this little hook right here. So we can go like that and hook it right there. So that way it kind of gets out of your way. You have a little funnel, which I'll show you what that's for if you don't know in just a minute. So here's your spare tire, and your batteries back here as well. Now I would assume you can use a little bit of space around the tire over here just in case you need to wedge in some more items if you're going on a trip for cargo space. But it does have a spare tire, so that's nice. There's a lot of new vehicles that don't come with a spare tire, so it's good to check on that before you actually buy one. The fuel door is a locking fuel door, and it's here on the driver's side, which is convenient. And it's a capless design, and it has this little seal, rubber seal right here, and it's designed to where you don't have to use a cap. You don't have to worry about the cap getting in your way, getting your hands dirty, or the cap being too loose and turning your check engine light on, that kind of thing. So that's nice. Now the funnel I showed you, you'll need that in case you need to use a gas can, but otherwise you just put the nozzle in there, pump the gas, close the lid, you're good to go. Okay, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, it could be in your pocket, a bag, whatever. To start it up, you put your foot on the brake and hold it and push this button. Okay, so here's the floor mat in front of the driver's seat. You can see the floor mat hooks in place in two places here on the driver's side. It's a little bit more important, I suppose. And then you have your accelerator and brake pedal, a footrest back in here, pretty good size, and a foot actuated parking brake right in front of it. Okay, so let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch slightly to the right of the center line. So there's your center. Reach in right in here, move it to the left, and lift up. Takes a little bit of effort right in here, but it gets to the point where it goes up the rest of the way by itself. Okay, so you can see it has an insulated hood, little seal across the top as well. There's also a little seal there across the back. Firewall is also insulated, and it's covered up with a big plastic cover, but there is an engine in here. It's a 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar V6 paired to an 8-speed TorqueFlite automatic transmission. And the oil filter is right here. So it's really easy to get to that oil filter. It's right in the very front. Okay, so the inside of the driver's side door is just like the passenger, except for it has a few more buttons. So you have your door lock controls, your power window controls, your side mirror adjustments all in here. The front two are automatic, one touch up and one touch down. Now the windows are laminated, so you have a 2 panes of glass with an acoustic material there in the center, helping keep the sound from vibrating its way through the glass and into the vehicle. Kind of cuts down a little bit on the sound. So the driver has a combination of power and manual seat. So it has the manual tilt there in the back. The power portion goes forward and back, up and down, that kind of thing. So you can really fine tune it. It's kind of like a dentist chair. Here to the left of the steering column, you have your headlight controls. You have automatic, off, parking, and turn on your headlights there. There's your interior gauge dimmer switch, as well as your interior lights. You can turn those on or off. This is for your ambient lighting. You should check out my channel for night videos. I have quite a few of them. Especially, I do have a really good one on the Charger. And there's the ability to pop the trunk using that button. It also has an ambidextrous lever for your tilt and telescoping steering column. Okay, so let's take a look at the inside, sitting in the driver's seat. Checking it out. Now I have the seat all the way back and all the way down, and it's a comfortable seat. It doesn't have a lumbar adjustment, but it does have pretty good lumbar support in a kind of a neutral area. So looking at the legroom here, I mean, you could be a basketball player and sit in here with comfort. I have the seat all the way back. I'm 6 feet tall, and this is way further back than I would actually drive the car. I could put my legs completely straight out, and although I can reach the pedals at this point, it is still a stretch as far as driving the vehicle safely. But just to give you an idea of the leg room and the knee room here, with it all the way back, the potential room anyway. Okay, so looking at the steering wheel, it's a leather wrapped steering wheel, soft to the touch, and excellent thickness, so it's not digging into your hand while you're gripping it. Just a really good steering wheel in my opinion. Then you have the accent right in here in like a gray or a black chrome here in the center portion. Cruise control here on the right side, and then you have on the back side is a volume up and down, designed where you have a toggle switch up and down with a center button. It's designed basically when you put your hand right here, it lines up with your finger, so you can adjust the volume up and down. Center button changes through your audio source. On the left side on the back, up and down is changing through your radio stations or your audio tracks, whatever the case may be, and the center button cycles through your presets on your radio only. Okay, so these buttons right here correspond with the screen between the gauges, which we'll get to in a minute. Down here is your Bluetooth controls, answer, hang up, and then you have a very advanced voice recognition that allows you to, of course, make phone calls, also respond to text messages, adjust the climate control. There's lots of stuff you can do with the voice recognition in this particular vehicle. Turn signal is here with your windshield wiper controls. Okay, so looking at the gauges, you have the red dials looking pretty sporty. Also has like a sporty font, a little bit of an italic type font that's looking good. And there on the left is your RPMs, your tachometer. On the right side is your speedometer, and right in the center basically is a screen. So right now it's showing a digital compass or digital speedometer in the center portion. Top left is your range, top right is your outside temperature. These are customizable features. And then you have your engine coolant temperature here on the left side, fuel temperature on the opposite, and right above that is what gear you're in. And that's also is customizable as well. So right now, using these buttons here, I'm going to cycle through and show you this is part of a whole menu system. So the speedometer is just one option. Scrolling down, So you'll notice now we're in the vehicle info screen. So the first one is speedometer, second one, vehicle info, starts off in this particular case with the tire pressure, but we scroll to the right and we get more temperatures and pressures as we go through. Scrolls back to the beginning. Scrolling down goes to our fuel economy, so this will give us an average fuel economy in real time or average, also a range. If we scroll to the right, it gives us another one, so that way we can reset this one if we want. Scrolling down again, we'll go to our trip, so this is also resettable. So we have the distance traveled, the miles per gallon during that time, and the time it took to travel that distance. Scrolling to the right goes to your second one. You can reset them independently. Scrolling down again is your audio, just whatever your radio is doing. Stored messages will be on the next one, and this is your screen setup. This is where you can go in and change the things here on the corner. So you notice this lights up as I select that. If I go to the upper right, it illuminates a little red light right there, showing me that that's what I'm working on. Okay, getting out of that by pushing left. Scrolling down again takes us back to the original speedometer screen, which is pretty much the default, I suppose, for most people. It would be for me anyway. And you don't have to go into all that information, it's just there in case you need it. Okay, so in the 2018 models we have the UConnect 4 system. So this one has the 7-inch screen, and the clarity, the resolution, everything is fantastic in the new UConnect systems, and they're really easy to use. So you can see the black is actually black. There's nothing washed out. The clarity of the colors is crisp. Okay, so you have these icons here at the very bottom, and they stay there, and you can kind of select what you want. So right now we're in this radio screen, so we have choices of AM, FM, satellite radio. The favorites or the presets there at the top. You can adjust the audio by pushing that button, and we can go into the balance and fade. We can actually take that and kind of move it around, or we could put it in the center, and then we can adjust it like this if we want to, and do it in steps. Then you have equalizer, which you can adjust the treble, mid, bass. Speed adjusted volume, which you can turn off if you want to. Loudness as well, you can turn that on or off. Okay, so media is right here, your next icon. There's no media available right now, but it does have USB ports and different ways of playing music through the sound system. So let's go select source here. You have USB 1, USB 2, Bluetooth, and auxiliary inputs here. Climate. This is your next screen. This is where you can adjust your climate. There is additional physical buttons, but right here you could do the fan speed, where you want the air to blow, recirculate the air, temperatures for your driver and your passenger, front and rear defrosters, all that good stuff. The next one is your apps. So this one actually does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capability. You will need to plug in your cell phone and set that up. I don't have that set up right now, but it does have that capability. You can go in audio settings and phone, media, all this stuff right here. And basically what the purpose of this screen is to allow you to choose what you want to put down in this bottom portion. So let's say we want to change, let's say we want to put the audio settings down here instead of the compass. So we can push that and hold it and drag it down right here and drop it there. So now the audio is there and the compass is now gone. We can go ahead and put it back by pressing the compass, and we can drag it down there and replace what we put there. So that's the basic in this particular vehicle. That's the purpose of this screen, to make you allow you to choose what icons you want. The next one is your phone. We don't have a phone paired, but once you pair a phone, you have access to your phone book, recent calls, favorites there at the top, recent call, basically your favorites there at the top, the people that you call frequently. And then you would have a transfer button so that you can transfer it back to your cell phone if you want to have a private call. And also send and receive text messages using the voice recognition, which is nice, or you can use a touchscreen if you're parked. The next one is your compass, basically, and it just kind of gives you a digital representation of a compass and which way your vehicle's facing. The next one will be settings. So this is where you can go in and turn off when the horn beeps, when you lock the door or remote start it, that kind of thing. Alright, so that kind of gives you an idea of what the screen's about. It's real easy to use. You just pick the icon and then you go into the additional settings there, and looks fantastic in real life. Hopefully the camera is picking it up properly. Okay, so down here is your volume, tune through the stations. You can mute the radio. There's your four-way flashers. Screen off. Like if we want to just turn that screen off, we could do that. If it's distracting us, we can turn off the traction control. We can also turn off the parking sensors if they're beeping at us and we're want to turn those off. You also have the redundancy of physical buttons down here for your climate control. So you have your fan speed, your temperatures for your driver and passenger, your front and rear defrosters, air conditioner, and recirculate the air are all down here as well as on the screen. So that way you don't have to get out of a particular screen to make micro adjustments that we always do with the climate. Okay, so down here is a 12-volt power supply, and the 12-volt power supply, you notice it has a key because it turns on and off with the ignition. And then you have this storage pocket right in here. Goes in quite a ways. You have a little quick access storage pocket there. Okay, so here's your shifter, and kind of reminds me of the Challenger shifter. Move it back. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse. Check out the backup camera. You notice it's in the very center position, and it's in a fairly high position, so we can see from the bumper all the way to the sky and all the way around as the active guideline. So as I turn the steering wheel, it's going to turn those lines, giving us an estimated trajectory of the vehicle if we continue on that route. Another thing that pops up when we put it in reverse is the parking sensors pop up on the screen, and not only will you get an audible alert, but you also get a visual alert here showing you where the object is in relationship to your car while you're backing up, that whatever the object is getting in the way. Okay, so moving on, neutral, there's drive. That's your normal drive position. It's going to cycle through the 8 gear ratios automatically, but if you want to manually change through those gears, you just bump it to the left, and now we're in a manual mode, and you can use it like a ratchet shifter and change the gear. So we pull it back or go forward. We can increase the gear ratio or reduce the gear ratio, and you'll know what gear you're in because it's going to show right here next to, right in that area. So we're second gear, put it down in first gear. At any time, we can always just move it to the right and go back into normal driving. So, if we don't we're tired of changing gears ourselves, we can just put it back in drive. Now, this is good for, we're accelerating. We want to go ahead and cycle, have some control over the acceleration, and then once we get to a set speed or whatever, we just bump it in the drive, and then let that take over. Okay, so right in here, this is like a rubberized surface. And so if you were to put something there, it's not going to slide around that easy. I mean, it could, but it gives a little bit of a rubber surface. Put your cell phone or whatever the case may be right in this area, and you can move it back. So this piece right here just kind of snaps in place. It's not going to move around on you while you're driving, but it takes very little effort to open it up. And once it's released, you can pull it back. Okay, so you have the illuminated cup holders here, and it has this open space here in the center portion. And this center portion, it's like a little rubberized portion at the bottom that you can take out and clean and put back in. It also has this, it's open here so you can utilize it for, more than just cups. It also has a space going this way, so if you want to put business cards or something in this area, you can do that as well. And the illumination looks pretty cool. Like I mentioned before, you got to check out my night video on the Charger so you can check out all the lighting and how neat it looks. I think it looks great. Okay, so here's your armrest, and soft to the touch surface, very comfortable and durable feeling. Now it has the contrast stitching here on the ends in a French design. Let's lift it up. And this is where you'll find a little tray. First of all, this little tray is a felt lined tray with little coin holders, and you can take it out, dump it, put it back in, that kind of thing. And you have a storage compartment with a lining at the bottom that's removable, cleanable, and put it back in. See, it has a 12-volt power supply that has illumination around it so you can find it in the dark. You notice it has a battery on it though. This is because it does not turn off with the ignition. It stays connected to the battery. So if you want to charge your cell phone while you're going in the store, the car can be off and it can go ahead and utilize that power source. That's nice. And then you have 2 USB inputs and an auxiliary input to the radio in here as well. The rest of the compartment is a felt lining, soft felt lining. To run wires in and out of this compartment, there's a space right here under this handle, right in there, that allows you to put wires. It's just open enough to where if you want to run a wire to the charger or the USB port in there and set your cell phone on the outside, you can do that. This portion right in here allows for wires to run through without being pinched. Rearview mirror is manual day and night mode. You have a place to put your sunglasses right here. And actually it blocks the sun too. So in this particular case, the sun, if the sun happens to get in that area, you can flip it down and help block the sun. I never really thought about that. Now it has this foam lining on the inside, so it kind of protects your phone or your glasses, and just in case you don't want them rattling around or whatever, it's getting scratched. And you have some tap lights up here. Visors have mirrors and lights. It also has this little extension here to help with the sun. Same thing on the passenger side. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. Alright, so you can see the headrests don't really get in the way much. And the way the glass contours down, the pillars are not so bad either. Of course, all pillars could be a blind spot, but overall, these look pretty good. Of course, you have the parking sensors, backup camera to help you out with that as well. Okay, so before we go, let's look at the window sticker. Now you can use the pause button to read it in detail if you'd like. But we'll just kind of pan across it here. Charger SXT Blacktop. So right here it gives you your basic stuff like your colors, engine. And then it starts with the standard equipment here. So it starts going with the standard equipment, and then it goes into the interior features. It continues with the interior features, and then it moves into the exterior features. This is all standard equipment now. And it says an 18.5 gallon fuel tank. That's good to know. Okay, so now it goes into the optional equipment. So the optional equipment is, in this particular case, the only thing that's there is the Blacktop appearance group. And it has the sport suspension, but everything else is pretty much cosmetic. I mean, it has of course, the wheels, different wheels, and of course the tires to go on those wheels, and exterior accents, all that good stuff, all listed there. All right, there you have it, 2018 Dodge Charger SXT V6. I'm going to do different trim levels this year, 2018, so that way you can see what's available. Now, this is a very popular model, so I wanted to go ahead and do this one. I also have a Charger Pursuit, the Police Charger 2018, if you want to check that out on my channel. So thank you for watching. Thank you to Vann Underwood, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram here in Whiteville for allowing me to show off an awesome vehicle, and I'll see you guys next time.